we have Mr. Jamal Green. Thank you for joining us, Jamal. Pleasure to see you. I understand traffic was tough, we know. So, do you know if Mayor Lightfoot was invited tonight, or is she?
I mean, I don't. I would seem that they would invite it to all candidates. She's the mayor. She thinks that she doesn't have to show up to things. But I think as she continues to look at those poll numbers, she'll show up at some point.
So let's talk a little bit about your exciting candidacy. There was some controversy with the Ricky Hendon scandal. We actually had an opportunity to talk to Dr. Wilson earlier, and he did not give a yes or no to the optics regarding Mr. Hendon staying with his campaign, which, with all due respect to him, to us, kind of seemed problematic. I don't want to editorialize too much. But you feel very strongly that the claims in your petition challenge against Dr. Wilson are pretty strong.
They are pretty strong. We've been clear as far as the residency, as far as the pattern of fraud, as far as just the full petition, all of the sheets not being binded correctly, numbered, notary stamped, circulator signatures, etc. So that's pretty strong. I think that we have a great case right now. It's in records challenge as we speak. Right now, the Board of Elections they're checking the signatures. So we'll hear something soon.
All right. So I know that this is going to come up in the forum tonight. This is not a gotcha question, but it's a tough question. But I know you've answered it before. For people who haven't heard you answer it, I want to give you the opportunity to share your answer to this question. Many critics of your candidacy have said you lack the experience. You're young. How do you address those comments to really convince people that those claims are unfounded in regards to the experience you do have, and I think the benefit of youth changing things, younger candidates changing things, because the experienced ones seems to be kind of business as usual?
Well, I think you've answered it for me. Three things.
Well, okay.
Number one,
You extrapolate.
three things. Number one, what have the folks with experience done for you? What are the people in this race? Just look at the people in this race. Let's look at what they've done, the elected positions that they have now, or the jobs that they've had before. Tell me, what have they done to make an impact on your community, on your life? And you'll see that the people that has all of this experience, it doesn't mean that they'll have an agenda that's for the people. Number two is, I'm not tainted. That is a great thing, right? It is a great thing that you have a candidate that is not tainted, controlled, puppeted around, that has real policies that really benefit the people, and that is 9 times out of 10 going to keep their promises because they don't have those ties and they're not tainted by old seats. And number three, yes, I'm young, right? But when you talk about the experience, talk about the experience that I do have. The experience that I do have is in the community, whether that was on behalf of Laquan McDonald, on behalf of young people throughout this city, fighting on behalf of businesses to keep them open or get them back open after they were looted, raising $250,000, forcing Chase Bank, fighting the largest bank in the world, forcing them to give back $1 billion to the South and West sides. When you talk about the experience, I don't care what it is, housing, violence, mental health, every different issue, we can go down the line. I can show you how I've been on the front lines fighting for that without the title. And I think that experience with the people, fighting for the people, matters more than the experience in government being corrupt.
So let's talk about banking, because you have been at the forefront of an initiative to provide affordable housing for people across all Chicago communities. And you kind of addressed this at your press conference at the petition drop-off. But for our viewers that don't understand the concept of the benefits of a public bank and how it could help Chicago's, not only your economy, but perhaps also help the crushing deficit and our budget shortfalls we're always dealing with. Can you, I know it's a complicated subject, but as Reader's Digest as you can, tell our audience why you're proposing this, why you're so much in support of it, what those benefits are, so people will perhaps expect the same kind of proposals or support from other candidates.
It's so important. Yeah, it's so important for the city to have a public bank. I mean, we're in the city of in a situation where we need our own economic engine to be able to invest back into communities, and we've been leveraging billions of dollars. I mean, putting billions of dollars in these banks that the bank has been leveraging for their benefit, and investing in private prisons, investing in immigration detention centers, investing in fossil fuel industries. And then you look back and you say, hey, what is their numbers when it comes to mortgages on the South and West sides? 1%, 2% in 6 years compared to the rest of the city of Chicago. So they're also redlining communities, and they're not our partners in rebuilding the city. If we have our own bank, a Bank of Chicago where we have a 9-member board, 3 put forth by the city council, 3 put forth by the mayor, 3 as elected by the people, that has priority of that puts the priority of money out, whether it is mortgages, whether it is income-based housing development, whether it's small business development. And then when that happens, the profit that comes back from that bank goes right back to city services. It's not investing in the prisons, it's investing back in the people. So that is whether it's paying down our pension crisis, right? Or whether it is being another stream of funding for our underfunded schools. It's up to us on where we want the excess of revenue to go back to, instead of leaving it with the banks and we're not getting anything. It just makes the most sense.
It makes too much sense, which is why it seems all of our political leaders who are connected with crony associates are not really focusing on it. Any new exciting developments in your campaign that we haven't heard about? Because look, you've been leaps and bounds. You got #1 on the ballot, which is very, very helpful. I mean, look, you got a great candidacy, but being up at the top there, people are paying attention to what we're doing, trying to promote candidates. Any other news from your campaign you want to share?
Well, not yet, but we got some exciting news over this next week on how we're going to really increase the voter turnout. And so I'm excited. Our team is doing well. I love being looked at as the underdog candidate because somehow the underdogs always win.
You heard it here first. So I don't know. Hopefully you've heard about this, but if not, I'll tell. Oh, Jamal, really quick question. So we have what we call on our show the Chicago Corner Manifesto. This is you've heard about it. So this is basically important issues, and I would imagine you probably align with almost everything, if not everything, on this list. So we're asking all candidates we speak with, not tonight, but if you could take this with you, it's a little bit of homework. Fill it out, review what you agree with, what you have comments on, email me back at jerry@chicagocorner.tv. And obviously we want to have you on the show again, but we're trying to get candidates feedback on what the other issues are coming from the people across the city of Chicago that you might not know about to address so we can talk about it. So that's your homework, sir.
No problem.
It's a pleasure to see you. All right, take care.